Now, we just saw the new Nintendo Direct. I mean, we saw Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, we saw Dark Souls, we saw Octopath Traveler. Those were all great, but you and I both know that it was about, like, one thing. Like, one thing and one thing only. So yeah, now that that game has been announced, Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Switch, whoa, we can finally have a talk about it. Of course, I'm extremely hyped, but one of the first things I started thinking about when I saw it was the controls. Throughout the years, we have played Super Smash Bros. On a ton of different consoles. The N64 with the weird trident type thing with like the analog stick in the middle and the buttons here on the side and some buttons here, but how you were supposed to like do both of them is still a mystery to me. And then we had the glorious days of the Gamecube, which was, oh my, wow, it was amazing. I love the Gamecube controller. It's still one of my favorite controllers. The only thing I don't like about it is the C-stick, like the faceplate of the C-stick. It's not that good. And then we had the Wii version, which was kind of weird and motion control-esque, not really a traditional controller as you would know. That worked still, and we could still play the GameCube because of the ports on the top. And on the Wii U, we played it on a gamepad, which was not that cool and handy in my opinion, but hey. But that still worked, and we also had a Pro controller, and yet again we hooked up GameCube controllers. What it comes down to, so far we have played Super Smash Bros. Mostly on GameCube controllers. So, will it function with the Nintendo Switch? As we all know, the Nintendo Switch is a very versatile, compact, practical console. You can take all kinds of parts and bits and pieces of the console and kind of configure it into whatever you want. You can play it like this, you can configure it like a controller, you can play two of them separately and play with a friend like this. There are a billion options, and then you got the Pro controller budging in. So, will that even work with a game like Super Smash Bros? Well, let's look at all the little configuration styles the Nintendo Switch has to see if it even works, like at all. Alright, first up, the handheld configuration. This little boy holds perfectly in your hands and kind of feels like a Wii U gamepad, but this time with a lot less plastic. However, there's one huge downside about the joycons. The buttons aren't mechanical. If you've ever typed on a non-mechanical keyboard and then switched to a mechanical keyboard, you will know what I mean. A mechanical keyboard feels so much nicer and feels alive for some reason. And for example, the GameCube always had mechanical buttons. Always did, and that will always be that way. And it was great for that reason, because mechanical freaking buttons are great for fighting games. So that's one thing we will have to miss with the handheld version. Luckily enough, you can also take them off and have them separately, and even add little slides here on the side to make them a bit more bulky for people with bigger hands. Would this be nice? Well, let's be honest, it would be fun, it would be easy, it would be handy for navigating menus, but besides that, if you really want to play Super Smash Bros., you're not going to play it like this. You would rather have it in a full controller-style setting than something like this. Now, personally, I think a lot of people will play it like this. The good old Joy-Con controller setup. Slide it into the little dock thing for the Joy-Cons, and you have what looks like and feels like some sort of a controller. Now, granted, it's not great. It does work and it's fine. I played through Breath of the Wild with this, and Super Mario Odyssey with this, and never had any real issues or problems, and everything was fine and I had a ton of fun. However, the analog sticks are mostly limited, and the fact that the buttons are still not mechanical. However, it's still fine. If you don't want to spend the money on the Pro controller, then this is a viable option. And now, for the option that came from the heaven, from Jesus himself, and he said, Wily, your life is gonna be amazing. And that's the Pro Controller, because, whoa, this thing is nice. It's sadly enough not mechanical though. It's kind of mechanical, it kind of feels, it tries to mimic it some sort of, but it's still not really mechanical. However, besides that, the layout of it is exactly the same. Just the middle bit here is a thing. The analog sticks on this thing are buttery smooth, react extremely fast, and are never off. That's what I like about this controller so much. The best feature about this whole thing is the analog sticks. Sadly enough, I do not own one, because I am greedy and skimpy, and they are $70. So, like I said, if you don't want to pay it, you can just play with this. It's fine. And then, we have our last option. The one that lets us play with a Gamecube controller, yet again. 4 games in a row. Gamecube controller, Melee, Brawl, Wii U, and now Switch. They recently found out that in one of the patches, they accidentally some sort of added compatibility with the Gamecube controller dock for the Wii U. Apparently, that just works. And they added that accidentally. They say so, at least. Will people do that? Yes, oh, it's a Gamecube controller, let's be realio. The only thing it misses really is the second shoulder button here, because you only have the Z button. And now for our final option, 2 separate joycons. Will this be nice at all? I don't really know. There probably aren't enough buttons on it, really though. Look at the normal controller. It has 2 shoulder buttons. It has face buttons, a ton of them. This, 2 analog sticks. It's not like you need it, it's like a 2.5D like side scroller, so that's fine. But still, there aren't enough face buttons. There aren't enough. So I'm not even sure if this will function properly. And if it will, they're really tiny. So I think it won't be that nice, or you will be at a huge disadvantage compared to a Pro controller. But still, it works for games like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. However, those don't need a whole lot of buttons. So, it's kind of an iffy topic. It depends on what the control scheme of the game will be. And it won't be that nice, really. But still, it will be enough for half an hour to an hour of good fun with a friend while you're waiting for a bus. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? What will Super Smash Bros. Switch be like? Will the controls be amazing, or will it be garbage? Will you be playing with the 2 Joy-Cons in the controller grip, or will you buy a Pro controller, or even just use your Gamecube controller? I'm probably gonna go for either the Gamecube controller, or this Pro baby.